very minimum be at least 2 videos. So please watch the next video for part 2. And then if you're listening to this on the podcast, you have the full thing and you don't have to have the break in between it. Number 6, receiving compliments. Receiving compliments is so, so important because receiving compliments means receiving your energy field. And so a lot of us as women, we're not really receiving our energy field. So you think of a flower that releases a beautiful fragrance, which our body does. Well, fragrance was supposed to be used for own nutrition and sink back into our own skin. And so one thing that we can do is receive compliments. How many times has someone complimented you and you threw it back at them versus like simply just saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, you know? And this is something that, like I said, with my webcam perspective, I bring a completely different look or understanding to things when it comes to like receiving. I'm like, okay, no, I want to stay on this thing, so I won't. No, this is actually a really important story to share real quick. So I was, I've traveled around from place to place to place, and in one place that I was, the best way is to say it was kind of the woman that I was rooming with. Okay, you know what? We're not gonna touch on that. Okay, so anyway, we're just going to keep on going. So, just receiving compliments. And the further you are distant from your feminine energy, like if you think about like there's a Grand Canyon that's missing you being connected to your feminine energy in your body, the harder it is for you to receive compliments. The universe simply just wants to give to you. So say yes, receive it, receive compliments from others, but more importantly, receive compliments from yourself and also receive the compliments knowing that you're already enough. I'm actually going to get some water. I have my water in my wine glass. So I'm going to get some water. It's another way I resonated with Daphne Joy because I was like, oh, I didn't know other women also sip water from their wine glasses. That's what I do. Number 7, her aura. Okay, so this is something that actually, number 7 is something that no one can, you can't replicate. So you can't replicate her aura. So part of, how do I even explain this? This part of the reason why she is receiving so much hate, and no, this might be a little bit hard to explain, but there's certain women who, I use this example. Okay, so as women, we're all different sets of perfumes. So when I teach about the goddesses, I teach about the different set of perfumes, right? I used to work at Victoria's Secret. And at Victoria's Secret, we have your fantasy mists, and then we have your actual perfumes. So fantasy mists are going to be things like, Aqua Kiss, Coconut Passion, Amber Romance, Love Spell. Those would be, what was it, Pure Vanilla or Vanilla Lace? Like those would be some of the fantasies, right? And the fantasies don't last as long. So think of women that are fantasy sprays as women who they have the thinner strands of feminine energy in their bodies. And then when you go to the women who have deeper sources of feminine energy in their bodies, those are actual perfumes, right? So those would be like the heavenly, I like to say Chanel number 5, but like that'd be like the heavenly perfume, Dolce & Gabbana perfume. But also in terms of keeping it Victoria's Secret, there's that would be the Victoria's Secret Bombshell perfume. And then within the Victoria's Secret Bombshell, there's different categories within that, right? So like there's Bombshell Wildflower, there's Bombshell Luxe, there's some perfumes that are discontinued. Those are also the rarest of energy lines, because these are the women that literally the universe doesn't, or very, very rarely will create a woman like this. And so before a woman connects to her body, she should first connect to her fragrance. Now, women who are a certain kind of perfume, like women who are Victoria's Secret Bombshell, for example, they have a very luscious design to them because their frequency in their body is so high. And high is not in terms of up. If you were to look at, actually, this plant, I'm really proud of this plant. I don't know. You can see this plant I have here. And for those listening to the podcast, I have this plant in my hand that has these gorgeous vines on it. What's it? Sorry, I'm having a brain freeze. What my plant's even called? It's not a spider plant, but it has these beautiful. I'm so proud that it keeps on growing and growing. I should put this back for the evil eye. I want my plants to stay. But yeah, always have a fresh plant in your room. It's very important for energy wise and stuff. But this plant has all these different vines on it. And so think about like high vibration in terms of that. It's how many vines, like how many feminine vines. And the more curlier a woman's aura are these, I don't know, the essence, the frequency, these vines rolling up her body, the more, not intense her perfume is, but the more feminine energies is inside her perfume. I hope this makes sense. And so, women who have a lot of feminine energy, their auras, I wish I had a better term for this, are naturally seen as sluttier. Um, and they have a very luscious design to them and a very high frequency. And so, often these women like have, I hate to say, like, I don't even want to use the term higher sex drive, because of that, then people use that to hurt them more, have a higher sex potential. So Daphne Joy is, I don't want to talk about, I'm talking about me, which I'm sure that you've kind of, so I will say that first before I talk now about another woman, because she doesn't even know. But the reason why I teach these goddesses is it's a way for me to explain about the different perfumes in a woman's body. And then you can be like, oh, this is why I'm going through, because this is what happened to the perfume inside of me. If you think about your perfume as your inner sparkle, right? So the sparkle that Daphne Joy is very, very rare. So I acknowledge that as number 7. It's nothing that you can shape or really change. But just know that that's kind of, that's a part of it. That is a part of it. That's part of an attraction. And unfortunately, a woman like this, also talking about myself here, we're often ostracized, thrown to the side, slut shamed. Like I can be wearing more clothes than the girl next to me, and I will automatically be called like sluttier, and people will more. So it's just, it's like this whole thing. So people don't know it, but that's what they're resonating with. And also think about frequencies. If woman's in her super feminine frequency, it actually, because women have been separated from their frequency, which is the feminine, for so long, the per woman who's not in her feminine energy will actually, like, physically vibration, like her body will can sometimes hurt, like it hurts to be healed. I don't know if that makes sense, but it kind of like rejects their frequency, and it's like this, it's like painful to even be around a woman who's so feminine to them in a vibrational energetic realm, and they don't even know that. Not even a vibrational energetic realm, in a physical realm, don't even know that, but they will do anything they can to shut the woman down, because women's carrying their frequency. So if they can shut her down, then the frequency will stop. This goes really, really deep. Okay, so another thing is, on number 8, I put on boundaries. So, like I said, I have an Only Angels, and a few times a year I subscribe to other people's Only Angels. And it's always so interesting to me to see, like, just what different girls like. I was talking with a girlfriend about it, and I was like, it's interesting to me that the actresses tend to show more of a playboy side, whereas the average everyday girls like me, it tends to be like, well, here's the full dessert. And I think there's many reasons for it, but I always think it's more important to like privatize it. But also, I think it's going back to the purpose of the whole boundary thing, is all these people are tossing her apart for being a mom. And yeah, you can be a mom and can still be sexy, for being a mom and having, you do have to, like, unfortunately, kind of have to think what the kids go through. It's this whole mess. Um, so definitely pay for removal of your stuff. But yeah. Um, but I don't think what anyone realized is that on her Only Angels, Daphne Joy, she was not showing um, honey making. She wasn't showing sucking cucumbers. She wasn't showing diamonds. She was showing implied peaks and then glimpses of her curves. That's it. And which is glimpses of her. So be able to say like booty teases. That's it. Literally, all you were seeing was her backside. That's all you were seeing. Just she made it to like what I wouldn't be surprised she made it to number one. But she made it to the 0.01% of Only Angels, only showing peaks of her backside. There wasn't talking in her videos, nothing. Everyone's like, oh, you're giving it all up. She actually isn't. And who knows like what it will morph into, as she gets more comfortable. But for the past year and a half, like I think she just released a JY video, but for the past year and a half, she actually isn't. You can actually see more of her on her Instagram, or more of her body wise on her Instagram than you do on her Only Angels. So so she does have her boundaries, and I also find it interesting that she doesn't try and correct the people. She's always just like, okay, I'll let them think what they think, but I have my own set of boundaries inside that I know that I do with, that I'm comfortable with. So that's a lesson that I can draw to, as a Kim on. It's like, oh yeah, like I have my boundaries within myself of having, just knowing what I'm comfortable with, something to myself, and then, you know, sharing in a way that I feel valued too. So it goes back and forth. Oh no. Unfortunately, this is going to split into another video, so I'll see you for part 3. But for those listening to the podcast, keep on listening. I'm going to pour my